There may come a moment in your life when no one seems to care anymore. No one calls. No one checks on you. No one stays. And slowly, you begin to wonder, am I no longer worthy of being loved? But what if losing the love of others is not the tragedy you think it is? What if it is the moment life is forcing you to discover a strength you never knew you had? The Stoics understood a painful truth. You cannot control who loves you, but you can control whether you abandon yourself. Hello everyone, welcome to the Stoic Hypnosis channel. In this video, we will explore 7 Stoic principles to remember when you feel rejected, forgotten, or completely alone. These lessons will teach you how to face loneliness without breaking, how to stop seeking your worth from others, and how to rebuild your inner strength. So stay until the end, because the final lesson may change the way you see yourself forever. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Stop measuring your worth by who loves you. One of the most painful mistakes you can make is believing that someone's love is proof of your worth. When they choose you, you feel valuable. When they leave, you feel worthless. When they call, you feel important. When they become distant, you start questioning everything about yourself. But the Stoics would ask you a different question. Why did you give another person the authority to decide your value? Think about it. A person can stop loving you without you becoming less worthy. Someone can misunderstand you without you becoming a worse person. Someone can walk away without taking anything away from your character. People change. Feelings change. Circumstances change. But your responsibility remains the same: to become a person you can respect when you are alone. Marcus Aurelius understood that your peace cannot depend on the opinions or affection of others. So stop asking, why didn't they love me? Start asking, am I living in a way that allows me to respect myself? Because when your worth comes from within, rejection may hurt, but it no longer destroys you. And that is the beginning of inner freedom. Number 2. Accept that some people are meant to leave. Sometimes, the hardest thing to accept is not that someone left, but that you cannot make them stay. You can explain yourself, you can apologize, you can give more, you can become everything you think they want, and still, they may choose to walk away. This is where many people lose themselves. They spend months replaying conversations, wondering what they could have done differently. But Stoicism teaches us to separate what is within our control from what is not. You can control your actions, you can control your character, you can control how you respond, but you cannot control another person's heart. And once you truly accept this, something inside you becomes quiet. You stop chasing. You stop begging. You stop trying to convince someone of your value. You simply let them go. Not because you never cared, but because you finally understand that love cannot be forced. Some people enter your life to stay. Others enter to teach you something. And sometimes, their departure is painful only because you were holding on to something that life had already asked you to release. Let them go. What is truly meant for you will never require you to destroy yourself to keep it. If these words are speaking to something you've been carrying silently, take a moment and stay with me. And if you believe that strength is built not when life is easy, but when you are forced to stand alone, consider subscribing to this channel. Here, we don't talk about becoming emotionless. We talk about becoming stronger, calmer, and more disciplined, especially when life gives you every reason to give up. So if you're on that journey, stay with me, because the next lessons may be exactly what you need to hear today. Number 3. Learn to be alone without feeling abandoned. There is a difference between being alone and feeling abandoned. You can sit in a room full of people and still feel completely alone, because loneliness is not always about having no one around you. Sometimes it comes from believing that you need someone else to make you feel whole, and that belief can quietly destroy you. When you are afraid of being alone, you become willing to tolerate almost anything. You accept disrespect. You chase people who have already stopped choosing you. You stay in places where your heart is constantly wounded, simply because being alone feels more frightening than being unhappy. But the Stoics understood something most people never learn. Solitude can become a training ground for strength. When you learn to sit quietly with yourself, you begin to hear thoughts you were always running away from. You discover what you actually want. You discover what you truly value. And slowly, you realize that your own company is not a punishment. It is a foundation. You don't need to become someone who never wants love. You simply need to become someone who doesn't need love so desperately that he abandons himself to receive it. Because once you are no longer afraid of being alone, you become much harder to manipulate, control, or break. Number 4. Stop begging for what should be given freely. One of the most painful things a person can do is beg someone to care. You send another message. You explain yourself one more time. You ask why they've changed. You try harder. You give more. And deep down, you're hoping that if you just do enough, they will finally choose you again. But there is something you must understand. You should never have to convince someone to value your presence. Love that must constantly be begged for slowly becomes a form of self-abandonment. The Stoics would remind you to protect what is truly yours: your dignity, your character, your response, your inner peace. You cannot control whether someone appreciates you, but you can control how long you remain where you are not appreciated. So stop chasing the person who keeps making you question your worth. Stop knocking on a door that has already been closed, and stop confusing persistence with self-respect. Walking away does not always mean you stopped loving someone. Sometimes, it means you finally started loving yourself enough to stop begging. And perhaps the most powerful thing you can do after someone stops choosing you is to quietly choose yourself. Number 5. Do not let rejection define your future. Rejection can make you believe that your story is over. Someone leaves, a relationship ends, a dream collapses, and suddenly you start looking at your entire future through the pain of one moment. You tell yourself, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe nobody will ever love me again. Maybe this is all my life will ever be. But pain has a dangerous way of making temporary situations feel permanent. The Stoics understood that no single event has the power to define your entire life. What happened to you is not the same as who you are. You were rejected. That does not mean you are worthless. You were betrayed. That does not mean everyone will betray you. You lost someone. That does not mean you have lost your future. Sometimes life closes a door that you were desperately trying to keep open, because there is another path waiting for you. You may not see it yet, and that's okay. You don't need to understand everything today. You simply need to refuse to let yesterday decide who you become tomorrow. Your pain is real, but it does not have to become your identity. Number 6. Build a life that does not depend on being loved. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that you no longer need someone's attention to feel alive. You don't need their message. You don't need their approval. You don't need to know whether they miss you. You simply wake up and continue building your life. That is freedom. The Stoics believed that a strong life is built around things that cannot easily be taken away from you: your character, your discipline, your principles, your ability to think clearly, your willingness to keep moving forward. So instead of spending your days wondering who still cares about you, build something worth caring about. Read, exercise, work, create, learn. Keep your promises to yourself. Become disciplined when nobody is watching, because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you rebuild a small piece of your confidence, and eventually, something changes. You stop desperately looking for someone to complete your life, because you have already begun creating a life that feels complete without them. Love should be something that adds beauty to your life. It should never be the foundation holding your entire identity together. Build yourself so deeply that even when someone walks away, your life still has somewhere to go. Number 7. Choose yourself, even when no one else does. And perhaps this is the most important lesson of all. There will be moments when nobody chooses you. No one understands you. No one applauds you. No one sees how hard you are trying. And in those moments, you will face a choice. You can collapse, or you can choose yourself. Not with arrogance, not with bitterness, not by pretending that you don't care, but by quietly saying, even if nobody stays, I will not abandon myself. Remember that, because one day, the people you thought you could never live without may become strangers. The attention you once depended on may disappear. The relationship you thought would last forever may end, and you will still be there, standing alone with the person you have always had, yourself. So become someone you are proud to stand beside. Become someone who keeps going when things get difficult, someone who remains kind without becoming weak, someone who can love deeply without losing himself, someone who can walk away without hatred and begin again without fear. Because your greatest victory is not making everyone love you. It is reaching a point where you no longer need everyone to. You finally understand, being unloved by someone does not mean you are unworthy of love. And sometimes, the person you have been waiting your entire life for to choose you is you. Conclusion. Maybe the greatest lesson is this: you cannot control who loves you, who leaves you, or who chooses you, but you can always choose yourself. Your worth was never created by someone else's attention, and it does not disappear when they walk away. So when life makes you feel rejected or alone, don't chase, don't beg, don't ask someone else to remind you that you matter. Pause. Ask yourself, what is within my control? Then return to your character, your discipline, your goals, and the promises you made to yourself. Take one small step forward today, because every time you choose yourself instead of desperation, you become stronger. And if this message meant something to you, consider subscribing to the channel. Your support gives us the motivation to keep creating powerful videos about stoicism, discipline, and inner strength. Thank you for taking the time to watch until the end of the video. See you in the next videos.